Good morning, students. This is your faculty Neha. Today we will be starting with a new chapter of history, and the name of the chapter is the Mughal Empire. In today's class, we'll get to know about Humayun, Akbar, Akbar's achievement, and the cultural contributions done by him. Before going ahead with the lesson, let me tell you there were three empires in the history of India. One is Maurya Empire, second is Gupta Empire, and the third is the Mughal Empire. The founder of Mughal Empire, or you can say the Mughal dynasty, was Babur. He was ruling a small region in Afghanistan called Kabul and was waiting for an opportunity to attack India, which was rich and prosperous. And by taking advantage of growing weaknesses of the Delhi Sultans, what he did, he invaded Delhi and ended their regime, but could not stop at that because the Rajput and the Afghans were against him and they stood against him strongly. The brave warrior that he was, Babur, with his powerful weapons, forced the opposing armies to come on their knee. Okay, soon Babur conquered Delhi, Agra, and the surrounding areas and established his kingdom. But he died soon. His son Humayun, later on, he continued to rule the throne. Humayun. Though Humayun managed to overpower his enemy in the beginning he was very strong, but later he got defeated by Sher Shah Suri. Okay, after losing his kingdom, what he did is he ran away to Persia and stayed there for 15 years. When the Afghan rule in India was getting weak, what Humayun did is he invaded India and conquered Delhi. However, he died within a short span, or you can say within a short period thereafter. After Humayun, his son Akbar, like he was very much inspired and he always wanted his kingdom to be very big. So, with the help of the Rajput kings, what he did is he made sure that the Rajput kings supported him. Some among them joined hands with him, but Rana Pratap Simha of Mewar opposed Akbar tooth and nail. He never liked Akbar and he never supported Akbar. He was a proud and a brave warrior. Later, there was a battle fought between Rana Pratap Simha and Akbar, and Rana Pratap was defeated in this battle, but still he did not bow down to Akbar. Thereafter, Akbar engaged himself actively in military campaigns for many years. As a result, he conquered Gujarat, Bengal, Kashmir, Kabul, and other areas and built a vast empire. Students, I want to say that Akbar was a very good administrator. Okay, he had all the qualities of being a good administrator, and he had the qualities to be a great king. And he was not like the other ruler, but he wanted to win the hearts of the majority. You can see Hindu subjects who had formed the majority, that is, the people who were Hindu. Okay, he had appointed Hindus at high posts in his court, and the tax earlier when the people used to go to a pilgrimage, they had to pay the tax. Akbar made sure that these things were taken out. Akbar's land revenue policy was well received by the people. It was framed by his revenue minister Raja Todaramal, and he was very tolerant of other religions. He constructed a prayer hall which was known as Ibadat Khana in his new capital Fatehpur Sikri, where he discussed religious matter with the leaders of various Islamic sectors. He invited Hindu, Jains, Buddhist, the Parsis, and the Christian leaders to discuss their views on the religion issues. Okay, you can say the religious issue. He had called everyone for discussion. As a result of such discussion, he evolved a new sect called the Din-e-Ilahi. Akbar was very much devoted towards literature and art. Faizi, Abdul Fazal, and Birbal were distinguished poets in his court, as well as the immortal Tansen was also there in his court. Akbar's contributions to architecture and painting are also remarkable. Jahangir and Shah Jahan, who succeeded Akbar to the throne, continued his policy to a great extent. Shah Jahan achieved fame by getting a famous Taj Mahal built at Agra, Red Fort at Delhi, and other stately places. Aurangzeb. Students, Shah Jahan's son's name was Aurangzeb and he was the last well-known Mughal emperor. Okay, he ruled for 50 years. During this period, he made sure his empire was expanded in all the directions. He did it, but as time passed, it started to fall, or you can say it started to decline quickly. Aurangzeb was an orthodox Muslim. He stayed away from drinking wine, gambling, entertainment, and music. He lived a very simple life. But later, Aurangzeb gave up all the liberal policy which was given by Akbar. He reimposed the jizya where they had to pay tax. This led to many political rebellions. Okay, many political kings, or you can say the parties at that time, got against Aurangzeb. The Sikhs and the Rajputs strongly opposed Aurangzeb in North India. Shivaji rose in revolt in the Deccan. The revolts continued for a long time. As a result, Aurangzeb lost enormous wealth, a large part of his army, and the worst of all, his prestige. Many provinces of his empire became free. Okay, he had lost many of his conquered places in short. The Deccan Wars sapped Aurangzeb's economic power as well as the military strength. Okay, he was completely destroyed and the powers were totally brought down. Being exhausted, he died in the Deccan. With his death, the Mughal Empire was greatly weakened, okay, because he was the last major and famous king. Once the king die, what happens? The kingdom starts to fall. So the same thing happened with the Mughal Empire. Student, during the Mughal administration of Aurangzeb, he made sure that his words were the final words and people had to obey these words. The empire was divided into provinces, district and taluks. The Kotwal looked after law and orders in the cities. Revenue system, like a system of Akbar's was Akbar's minister Raja Tordarmal framed a land revenue system. Under this system, the land revenue was fixed on the basis of the fertility of the soil. Okay, seeing the soil, they used to fix the tax. Humayun's tomb in Delhi was constructed during the early period of Akbar's regime. He built a new capital near Agra and named it as Fatehpur Sikri. The magnificent palaces, mosques, and the pavilions of these places attracted tourists from all over the world. The entrance of Jami Masjid, that is known as Buland Darwaza, here is the tallest in India. Students, just take a moment, pause the video and go through the points of the declines of the Mughal Empire. The main reasons where people started to become corrupt towards the state, and there was a fight in between the relatives itself for the throne. The governors, what they did is they took advantage of the situations and declared their independence. And one of the main reason was Aurangzeb's desire to convert India into an Islamic state met with an opposition everywhere. In India, that was not welcomed. The prolonged warfare with Sikhs, the Rajput, and the Marathas fully exhausted the resources of the empire. In the meanwhile, Nadir Shah, a Persian invader, raided Delhi. He looted the wealth by the Mughals over the periods of 2 centuries. Whatever wealth Mughals have saved, and Nadir had looted everything. Even he took away the world famous Kohinoor diamond and the peacock throne of Shah Jahan. The treasury of the Mughals became empty after this. That's all from this lesson. Thank you very much for paying attention. Have a nice day.